Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7. This is episode 2342 and ordinarily we would be talking about, say for example, what's going on in the month of December for Star Wars, but unfortunately there's been some very sad news. On Saturday, November 28th, David Prowse, who played the physical embodiment of Darth Vader in the original trilogy, passed away after a brief bout with an undisclosed illness. He was 85 years old. George Lucas first discovered him when he was playing a role in A Clockwork Orange, and he did a couple of other movies in between that and Star Wars, including the James Bond spoof Casino Royale, the early one, not the new Daniel Craig one, and also a couple of Hammer horror films, which is notable because also another veteran of Hammer horror movies is Peter Cushing, and the two of them actually starred together in one called Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, and he was the monster, David Prowse was, and Peter Cushing was Dr. Frankenstein in that. So that was actually their first opportunity to act together in 1974, prior to Star Wars in 1977. And despite his success in Star Wars, he may actually be just as well known in the United Kingdom for being the Green Cross Code Man, which basically was a superhero invented to teach children about road safety. He started that in 1975, and I believe it was about 10 years that he was associated with that role, and he actually became a member of the Order of the British Empire as a result, which is a British order of chivalry rewarding contributions to the arts and sciences, work with charitable and welfare organizations, and public service outside the civil service. That's according to Wikipedia. He also served as a physical trainer to actors in movies, including training Christopher Reeve for the role of Superman, and also, although this said there was a citation needed, but Cary Elwes for his role as Wesley in The Princess Bride. And according to Mark Hamill, who posted a tribute on Twitter, he was a 3-time British weightlifting champion. In fact, here's Mark Hamill's whole thing. So sad to hear David Prowse has passed. He was a kind man and much more than Darth Vader. Actor, husband, father, member of the Order of the British Empire, 3-time British weightlifting champion, and safety icon, the Green Cross Code Man. He loved his fans as much as they loved him. Other tributes included one from Billy D. Williams, who said, "It's incredibly sad to hear David Prowse has passed. It was a great gift to work with him and an honor to call him my friend." Eunice Suetamo said, "My condolences go out to David Prowse's family and friends. A true icon who brought Darth Vader to life. Our Star Wars family will always cherish the memories he gave us." Warwick Davis, who played Wicket the Ewok, said, "So sad to hear of the passing of a Star Wars family member, David Prowse. He taught me to cross the road safely, hashtag Green Cross Code, and a signed Darth Vader poster from him took pride of place on my bedroom wall. To the 11-year-old me, he was a true hero, now one with the Force." Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, said, "More sad news, Dave has gone. I don't think 3PO ever faced Vader's mighty presence on set, other than as a bag of bits on Chewie's shoulders in the carbon freezer, but Dave's iconic figure dominated the finished film in '77 and has done so ever since, and will continue to do so." And from the Peter Mayhew Foundation Twitter account, "R.I.P. David Prowse, I hope you're up there sharing a pint in the story with the boys," which was accompanied by a picture of David Prowse with Peter Mayhew and Kenny Baker, who played R2-D2. That one, I think, is the one that kind of hit me the hardest. ILM's official account said, "Very sad to hear that David Prowse has passed. His undeniable talent helped bring one of cinema's most iconic characters to life. Today our thoughts go out to his family and friends." And the official Star Wars account says that Lucasfilm was saddened to learn of the passing of David Prowse, who provided the commanding presence and imposing physical performance of Darth Vader for the original trilogy. He will be long remembered. And George Lucas himself, in a statement on the official Star Wars website with the release about this, said, "David brought a physicality to Darth Vader that was essential for the character. He made Vader leap off the page and onto the big screen with an imposing stature and movement performance to match the intensity and undercurrent of Vader's presence. David was up for anything and contributed to the success of what would become a memorable, tragic figure. May he rest in peace." And I will link to the official Lucasfilm release about that in the blog post show notes for this episode. So, David Prowse. I think the things that, for all the reading, it's so interesting how the dichotomy exists. The character that he embodied was so commanding and so fearful in its presence, and yet, all of these reports about him being a very kind-hearted person, it's so remarkable to see how, actors who are like that in real life, who are sweet and wonderful in real life, are so menacing in their performances on screen. It's remarkable how that happens, and David Prowse certainly was that. I mean, yes, James Earl Jones obviously is a critical part of the overall performance of Vader and his presence on screen, but you know, I was just thinking about this in terms of, for example, having watched The Mandalorian, and when you see Timothy Olyphant come in wearing Boba Fett's armor, and it just looks awkward on him. You know, it's so easy to put someone in, you know, a costume in armor and have them walk around and it doesn't look like it suits them and they look out of place, out of character. That was never the case with David Prowse. When he wore the Darth Vader armor, he owned it, he commanded it, he was Darth Vader. Even though we never got to see his face on screen, that man was the reason why we were so physically scared of Darth Vader. His voice, yes, that too, but he didn't look like a rickety thing or anything like that. He looked like he was going to destroy you. And to be simultaneously known for his role as one of the most iconic movie villains of all time, as well as one of the most beloved, you know, safety figures in the United Kingdom for the better part of a decade, what an amazing, you know, act of balance. It's, you know, kind of a balance of the Force in its own way. So going back to a quote from Meister Eckhart, the philosopher and theologian, that's one that I tend to share in these unfortunate episodes where we have to discuss the passing of someone from the galaxy far, far away. Meister Eckhart once said that if the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough. So whatever your particular religious situation is, I hope today you will take a moment at some point in the day and just give a quiet thank you to the universe in honor of David Prowse. And that is going to be the end of our show today. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.